You're sitting with a group of friends, family, or even colleagues, and the conversation takes a turn towards the personal. Someone starts sharing the intimate details of their life, their struggles, their challenges, their fears. And before you know it, everyone is chiming in with their own stories, their own problems, their own complaints. Sound familiar? It's a scenario that plays out in social gatherings, workplaces, and even online forums all the time. And while there's certainly value in sharing our experiences and seeking support from others, there's also a danger in getting too caught up in the drama of our own lives. You see, when we constantly talk about what's going on in our lives, we give those experiences power over us. We allow them to define us, to shape our thoughts and emotions, and to dictate the course of our lives. But what if I told you there was another way? What if I told you that by simply shifting your focus away from your own problems and onto something greater, you could transform your life in ways you never thought possible? It may sound too good to be true, but hear me out. You see, when we stop telling what's going on in our lives, we open ourselves up to a whole new world of possibilities. We free ourselves from the limitations of our own stories, and we start to see the world through a different lens. Think about it this way: when you're constantly talking about your problems, your challenges, your struggles, what are you really focusing on? You're focusing on lack, on limitation, on what's missing from your life. But when you stop telling those stories, when you shift your focus onto something else, something bigger than yourself, you start to see the abundance that's all around you. You start to notice the opportunities, the blessings, the miracles that are hiding in plain sight. And that's where the magic happens. That's where you start to tap into a source of power and potential that most people never even know exists. That's where you start to create a life that's full of joy, purpose, and meaning. But I know what you might be thinking, but what about the real problems in my life? What about the challenges I'm facing, the obstacles I need to overcome? How can I just ignore those things and focus on something else? And I get it. I really do. We all have real problems, real challenges, real issues that we need to deal with on a daily basis. And I'm not suggesting that you ignore those things or pretend they don't exist. But what I am suggesting is that you stop giving them so much power over your life. What I am suggesting is that you start to see those challenges as opportunities for growth, for learning, for transformation. You see, when we focus all of our energy and attention on our problems, we give them the power to control us. We allow them to dictate our thoughts, our emotions, our actions. And before we know it, we're stuck in a cycle of negativity and self-doubt that can be hard to break free from. But when we shift our focus onto something else, something that inspires us, something that fills us with a sense of purpose and meaning, we start to see those problems in a different light. We start to approach them with a sense of curiosity, with a willingness to learn and grow from them. And that's when the real transformation happens. That's when we start to see our challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities. That's when we start to tap into our own inner strength and resilience, and we start to create a life that's full of possibility and potential. So how do you do it? How do you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater? Well, it starts with a simple shift in mindset. Instead of dwelling on your problems, start to focus on your dreams. Instead of complaining about what's wrong in your life, start to express gratitude for what's right. Instead of seeking validation and support from others, start to cultivate a deep sense of self-love and self-acceptance. And most importantly, start to take action. Start to do something every day that moves you closer to your goals, your dreams, your highest aspirations. Whether it's writing in a journal, meditating, exercising, or simply taking a few moments to breathe deeply and center yourself, make it a priority to invest in your own growth and development. Because here's the thing: when you focus on something greater than yourself, when you tap into a sense of purpose and meaning, you start to attract incredible things into your life. You start to notice synchronicities and opportunities that you never even knew existed. You start to feel a sense of excitement and enthusiasm for the journey ahead. And before you know it, those problems that once seemed so overwhelming start to fade into the background. They don't disappear entirely, but they lose their power over you. They become simply another part of the tapestry of your life, another thread in the rich and beautiful story that you're weaving. So let me ask you this. What would your life look like if you stopped telling what's going on in your life and started focusing on something greater? What kind of person would you become? What kind of impact would you make in the world? I want you to take a moment right now to close your eyes and visualize that future self. See yourself as the confident, purposeful, joyful person you've always wanted to be. Feel the energy and excitement that comes from living a life that's fully aligned with your values and your passions. And now, I want you to make a commitment to yourself, a commitment to stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, a commitment to take one small step every day towards becoming that future self, no matter how scary or uncomfortable it may feel. It could be something as simple as starting your day with a few minutes of quiet reflection or setting aside time each week to pursue a hobby or passion. It could be reaching out to someone you admire and asking for their guidance or mentorship. It could be volunteering your time and energy to a cause that's close to your heart. Whatever it is, make it a non negotiable part of your daily routine. Make it as important as breathing or eating or sleeping. Because when you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, everything else starts to fall into place. And I promise you this, when you look back on your life years from now, you won't remember the problems that once seemed so overwhelming. You won't remember the challenges or the obstacles or the moments of self doubt. What you will remember is the person you became, the life you created, the impact you made in the world. And you'll be grateful that you had the courage to stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, even when it was hard, even when it was scary. So let's make that commitment right here and now. Let's pledge to stop telling what's going on in our lives and start focusing on something greater, no matter what life throws our way. Let's support and encourage each other and hold each other accountable to our highest vision of ourselves. And most importantly, let's never forget how powerful we truly are. Let's never forget that we have within us the ability to create the life we want, to be the person we've always dreamed of being. It all starts with a decision to stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, a decision to trust in your own strength, your own wisdom, and your own resilience. So make that decision today. Take that first step, no matter how small or how scary, and watch as your life begins to transform in ways you never thought possible. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater. And I know that when you make that commitment, when you take that leap of faith, incredible things will start to happen. You see, when you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, you start to tap into a source of power and potential that most people never even know exists. You start to realize that you are not limited by your circumstances, your past, or your perceived weaknesses. Instead, you start to see yourself as the creator of your own reality. You start to understand that you have the ability to shape your life in any way you choose simply by focusing your thoughts, your beliefs, and your actions in a positive direction. And as you start to live from that place of inner power and conviction, something amazing starts to happen. You start to attract people and opportunities into your life that reflect your newfound sense of purpose and passion. You start to notice that the world around you begins to shift and change, almost as if it's responding to your internal state of being. You start to see synchronicities and serendipities popping up everywhere, guiding you towards your highest goals and aspirations. But it's not just about what happens on the outside. When you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, you also start to experience a profound shift on the inside. You start to feel a deep sense of peace and contentment, knowing that you are living in alignment with your true self. You start to experience a level of joy and fulfillment that you never thought possible simply by honoring your own needs, desires, and passions. And as you continue to cultivate that inner state of well being, you start to radiate a magnetic energy that draws others to you like moths to a flame. People start to see you as a leader, a visionary, someone who is not afraid to blaze their own trail and create their own destiny. But let's be clear, focusing on something greater doesn't mean ignoring the realities of your life or pretending that everything is perfect. It doesn't mean avoiding difficult conversations or shirking your responsibilities. In fact, it's quite the opposite. When you focus on something greater, you start to develop a deeper sense of clarity and purpose that allows you to navigate life's challenges with grace and ease. You start to approach your problems from a place of wisdom and understanding rather than fear and reactivity. And from that place of clarity, you start to show up in the world in a different way. You start to communicate with others from a place of authenticity and compassion rather than judgment or criticism. You start to build relationships based on trust, respect, and mutual understanding. You start to see that focusing on something greater is not just about personal growth and achievement, it's about creating a ripple effect of positivity and change that extends far beyond yourself. And that's the true power of this mindset. When you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, you become a catalyst for transformation in the world around you. You start to create a positive impact that goes far beyond what you ever thought possible. But it all starts with a willingness to look within. It all starts with a commitment to focus on something greater, to nurture your own growth and development, to cultivate a deep sense of purpose and meaning. And I know that can be scary. I know it can feel uncomfortable at times, like you're venturing into uncharted territory. But I promise you this, the rewards are worth it. When you stop telling what's going on in your life and start focusing on something greater, you start to experience a level of freedom and liberation that most people only dream of. You start to break free from the chains of limitation and self-doubt and step into the fullness of your own potential. You start to realize that you are not defined by your past, your mistakes, or your perceived flaws. You are defined by the choices you make in each moment, by the vision you hold for your life, by the courage and resilience you bring to each new challenge. And as you start to live from that place of inner power and conviction, you start to inspire others to do the same. You start to create a domino effect of positive change simply by showing up as your best self and encouraging others to do the same. So let me ask you this, what's stopping you from focusing on something greater? What's holding you back from stepping into the fullness of your own potential, from creating the life you truly want to live? Is it a fear of failure? A fear of the unknown? A fear of what others might think or say? Whatever it is, I want you to know that it's okay. It's okay to feel scared, to feel uncertain, to feel like you don't have all the answers. But I also want you to know that you have within you the power to overcome those fears. You have within you the strength and the resilience to keep going, even when things get tough, even when the path ahead seems unclear. And when you focus on something greater, you start to tap into that inner wellspring of courage and determination. You start to trust in your own abilities, your own intuition, your own innate wisdom. You start to realize that fear is just an illusion, a temporary obstacle on the path to greatness. And you start to move through those fears with grace and ease, knowing that they are simply stepping stones on the journey to your highest self. But it's not always easy. There will be moments of doubt, moments of uncertainty, moments when you question whether you have what it takes to keep going. And in those moments, I want you to remember this, you are not alone. You are part of a global community of individuals who are all committed to focusing on something greater, to creating a life of purpose and meaning. You are part of a movement of change makers and visionaries, of leaders and luminaries who are all working together to create a brighter, more beautiful world. And when you tap into that sense of connection and community, when you surround yourself with people who believe in you and support you, anything becomes possible. So let's make a pact right here and now. Let's commit to focusing on something greater, no matter what life throws our way. Let's commit to being the change we wish to see in the world, to living our lives with purpose and passion, to inspiring others to do the same. And let's do it together. Let's create a global network of individuals who are all dedicated to personal growth and transformation, to creating a positive impact in the world around us. Let's share our stories, our struggles, our triumphs. Let's lift each other up and hold each other accountable to our highest vision of ourselves. Because when we come together in the spirit of love and unity, when we focus on something greater, there is no limit to what we can achieve. We can create a world of abundance and prosperity, a world of peace and harmony, a world where every individual has the opportunity to thrive and flourish. And it all starts with you. It all starts with a willingness to focus on something greater, to cultivate a deep sense of purpose and meaning, to act from a place of love and service. So let me leave you with this final thought. You are powerful beyond measure. You have within you the ability to create the life you truly want, to make a difference in the world around you, to inspire others to greatness. All you have to do is take that first step. All you have to do is focus on something greater and trust that the universe will conspire to support you, to guide you, to lead you towards your highest goals and aspirations. And when you do, I promise you this, your life will never be the same. You will experience a level of joy and fulfillment that you never thought possible. You will create a legacy of positivity and change that will ripple out into the world around you. So let's make that commitment right here and now. Let's focus on something greater, no matter what challenges we face, no matter what obstacles we encounter. Let's be the change we wish to see in the world and inspire others to do the same. And most importantly, let's never forget how powerful we truly are. Let's never forget that we have within us the ability to create miracles, to transform our lives and the lives of those around us simply by focusing on something greater. So go out there and make it happen. Take that first step, no matter how small or how scary, and trust that the universe will conspire to support you, to guide you, to lead you towards your highest goals and aspirations. I believe in you. I believe in your ability to focus on something greater, to create a life of purpose and meaning. And I know that when you do, incredible things will start to happen. So let's make it happen together. Let's create a world of limitless possibility, a world where every individual has the opportunity to shine their light and make a difference. It all starts with you. It all starts with a commitment to focus on something greater, to live your life with passion and purpose, to inspire others to do the same. And when you make that commitment, when you take that leap of faith, I promise you this, your life will be forever changed. You will experience a level of happiness and fulfillment that you never thought possible. You will become the person you were always meant to be, the person you were born to be. And you will inspire others to do the same simply by living your truth and focusing on something greater. So let's make that commitment right here and now. Let's stop telling what's going on in our lives and start focusing on something greater, something that fills us with a sense of excitement and possibility. Let's create a life that's full of joy, purpose, and meaning, and let's do it together as a community of like-minded individuals who are all dedicated to making a positive impact in the world. Because when we come together in the spirit of love and unity, when we focus on something greater, there is no limit to what we can achieve. We can move mountains, we can change lives, we can create a world that's full of beauty, compassion, and understanding. And it all starts with a simple shift in mindset, a simple decision to focus on something greater, no matter what life throws our way. So let's make that decision right here and now. Let's stop telling what's going on in our lives and start focusing on something greater, something that inspires us to be our best selves and make a positive impact in the world. Let's support each other, encourage each other, and hold each other accountable to our highest vision of ourselves. And most importantly, let's never forget the power that lies within us, the power to create the life we truly want, the power to be a force for good in the world.